Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Alice. We talk about books. We sometimes do some vlog and lifestyle content. So if you're looking for someone to stick on in the background while you make yourself a meal, clean your room, or do that thing you've been putting off for the longest time, then I'm your gal. So consider hitting that subscribe button. Come on in, join the family. It is free and you can unsubscribe at any time. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. Let's get on with today's video. I do apologise a little bit about the crazy hair today, and I do have rinsed pyjamas on underneath this. Oops, sorry, very on brand. But we are back with another video and I'm excited because guess what we're talking about today? Drum roll please. Jokes, you've already seen it in the title. The Hobbit, woo! We finished it. So as you guys maybe do or do not know, I listened to this series on Audible and it was narrated by Andy Serkis, and honestly it was just such a good time. And I just finished this recently. It took me a little bit longer than I would have liked just because Christmas happened, so there was no time to just... But it was fine because I did still manage to fit some in. And I literally finished it yesterday. So I'm here to tell you about my thoughts. We're doing a book review. As you guys know, we are starting the one upload a week, but a more high effort video, which obviously I understand today perhaps isn't quite the case, but going forward on Saturdays we'll have a more high effort video, and then I'm going to try and do one or maybe two videos in the week, so kind of similar to the normal schedule. Maybe it'll be some reading vlogs, maybe it'll be some vlogs going around Asia, so we're going to go with the vibe, with the flow. Okay, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? I feel like you feel pretty good about that. Me too. Okay, perfect. Without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, bring in the trusty steed. So as it's 2025, maybe today, jokes, today will not be the day that we tell you about the dentist, but we will one day. Maybe we should do it for like a big milestone. What do you think? 1,000 subscribers? Can we do it? Dun, dun, dun. Check your subscribe. Go on, have a little check just in case. Oh, thanks, legend. Icon. We've started a new note on our note section. It is called 2025 Books Wrap. You know, it has begun. So let's do it. The Hobbit. I gave this book a 9 out of 10. It's actually the same as The Fellowship of the Ring, which means I also gave this book a 5-star. I didn't doubt that the series probably wouldn't all be 5-star, but I wasn't sure because obviously The Hobbit is a slightly different style of story and is also a different journey, but I did end up enjoying it. Obviously this book has 0 spies. Do not go looking for spies in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. It's not gonna happen. There might be some fanfic somewhere, not in these books. Okay. If asked would I recommend this book, obviously yes. I do think it is good to read as well. I think you could get away with just reading The Lord of the Rings and not coming back to this, but it just adds so much more to the world and you kind of get a bigger view and you get to see some of the characters, or maybe relatives to some of the characters in The Lord of the Rings. It's cool to see all the pieces fit together, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Side note, let's just talk about this for a second. I really like this version I have. They're just these small little books, right? Very plain. So The Hobbit is actually green, the other ones are black, and it just looks very profesh, doesn't it? And then I love this dust jacket because iconic. And then look, it's got lovely little map inside. Another one with Mirkwood. And it's just really, really nice. Obviously they are a little bit small in text, but I like them. And look, got a little picture. Who knew, eh? It's a picture book too. Love it. But obviously, as I said before, I did listen to this on Audible. I do sometimes go into these books and sort of just check like little references, see what they're like if there's a quote I like to go read it again. So it's good vibes. Good vibes. Okay, so for the review, I said this book was so fun. The way it was narrated was really, really cool because it was kind of sarcastic and it got the reader involved, which is really cool. I remember at the start it saying like humans like me and you and stuff. I just felt that was really cool. It was definitely a lot more involved in this book. Bilbo's vibe is definitely different to Frodo and The Lord of the Rings, but I kind of love it. You know, he's just a little bit sassy, a little bit sarcastic, just goes with the flow, and is also kind of a bit angrier and hot-headed than Frodo, so I do quite like that because he has a completely different tale to tell, and yeah, I love that. Obviously Mr. Andy Serkis smashed it out of the park again. One of the best things I've ever done, and if I were to ever recommend anything, it would be to go on Audible. Obviously hashtag not sponsored, wish it was. It's like literally my favourite app, but okay. I'm just gonna take a sec. fine. Obviously not sponsored, but listening to The Lord of the Rings narrated by Andy Serkis is probably one of the best things I've ever done. So, you know, think about it, give it a go. If you've always wanted to read it, but you don't think you'll get around to reading it and you want to listen to it instead, perfect. If you have read it and you want a different vibe with it, you want to listen to it, pick that. Yeah. It also made me want to rewatch the films afterwards. I kind of want to see what's different, if they added more or didn't add everything in, what was embellished, etc. Because I can't really remember the films now. It wasn't that long ago that I watched them, but so much happens in them and they're split. I mean, The Hobbit has 3 films, right? So like this tiny little book, the smallest book of the whole shenanigans, has 3 films, and I'm like, where did we find this? So there must have definitely been more going on. So I feel like I'd like to go back. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to remember, but I feel like the goblins had more of a part in the film, but I can't really remember. Like, I feel like you was following their side journey that you don't follow in the book. So maybe? I can't really remember. We will rewatch it though, okay guys? I really liked the way they did it in the book. I thought everything was quite clever. There was a few little plot twists in there, so that was fun. Obviously we do get a little bit of Gollum in here as well, which is cool because obviously, as we know, Andy Serkis is the voice of Gollum in the films. It was also fun to kind of see the start of the overlapping. So there was a mention about how Gandalf had come to the White Council and they were talking about the Necromancer, which obviously we know is Sauron. You know, I feel like that was quite cool to see the overlapping and, you know, the relations of characters that we see later to these ones. It's quite cool to see everyone having their own journey in a way. For example, there's a few mentions of things that happen in The Hobbit in The Lord of the Rings, especially by Frodo, who's read Bilbo's story. So I did quite like that crossover as well. That was cool. Key example of the narration style, sort of as we got to the end, you have this quote, "As all things end like this story," and I just feel like that really kind of summed up how you have this narrator-reader balance and how the relationship works, because that kind of does take you out the story, but you're still in the world, if that makes sense. So I thought it was really, really clever. I enjoyed it a lot. So obviously I didn't give this book a 10. So the reason was, and my main / only criticism, I feel like sometimes things were a bit done and dusted and over a little bit too fast. Like, especially with The Lord of the Rings, how much depth and detail and how long these stories go on for. And obviously that's because a lot of the time we have 2 side things going on at the same time. I just feel like this felt really short and felt really quick, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes the chapters were really short, so you'd just be thinking, oh yeah, I want some more detail on something, and it'd kind of stop. So I don't really know. I felt like my main point was, and again, I don't think it affected me that much that I could knock more than 1 mark off, but I did feel like sometimes it was a little bit quick in places. It's similar to The Lord of the Rings. You get to a super climactic point and then it's over really quickly, which is fine because the bit that is more fun and intense is the build up of the climax, but I did just feel sometimes it was a little bit too fast in this book. But you never know, that might just be because I wish it lasted longer than it did, because I didn't want it to end. So, you know, you gotta take it with a pinch of salt. Everyone's gonna have different opinions. You're entitled to yours. Don't you worry if you did not agree with this. That's such a fair statement. For me, I would have liked a few little bits here and there extra. So like I said, it didn't really affect it that much or drop that much of a score, which is why this book is still a 5-star read for me. It's definitely on the lower end of the 5-star spectrum compared to, for example, Return of the King. I definitely preferred that a lot more, but I couldn't give this book less than a 5-star for me. You did it again, Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien. Good job. Legend. I'm definitely excited to hear the other stories narrated by Andy Serkis. I know he definitely did the Silmarillion. Sorry if I butchered that. We'll get there when we get there. And maybe he did one more, but I'm definitely excited to listen to those as well. So we'll come back to that in the future and update ya. Definitely love being within this universe. And as this was technically the last book of 2024 and first book of 2025, it was both a great end and start to a year. We love it. Okay, on to reading more things. Now obviously when I'm away there is going to be more Kindle reading going on because I can't take that many books with me, but don't you worry, I've prepared some cracking thumbnails for you, so you still feel like I'm at home and you'll blink and I'll be back. okay? Obviously I will still be making content. That kind of made it sound like I wasn't, but yes, I will be making them. There'll be different backgrounds here and there, but you'll get used to it, guys, won't ya? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait to see you guys at the next videos, when hopefully they'll be getting a lot more exciting. Woo! Really gonna get those creativity coming out, I hope. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Have you subscribed? Thank you very much, and as always, until the next one, I'll see you then. Bye. My hair is crazy.